Can ultrasounds cause insanity? Apparently so. Hello, my name is Wallace Smith. Welcome to another Tomorrow's World webcast. I have in my hand an article from The Atlantic. It was published January 24th, written by Maura Weigel. Here is the title: How Ultrasound Became Political. The subtitle is, "The technology has been used to create sped-up videos that falsely depict a response to stimulus," concerning the fetus in the womb. Now, that's not the original title. I actually have to credit Albert Mohler in his podcast, where I heard about the original title of the article. The original title was this: How the Ultrasound Pushed the Idea that a Fetus is a Person. Actually, there was a great deal of clamor about this article, and several things about the article were changed. I'll note another one later. I'm just going to read a couple of highlights I've selected. Generally, the article is talking about how the ultrasound has given an unprecedented view inside a woman's womb to see the child inside. And it talks about how there's all these laws where people are trying to require women to be able to see the ultrasound, or at least offer the option before an abortion to view the ultrasound. But the article indicates, as far as I'm concerned, an amazing detachment from reality. For instance, the author writes here that all these measures are conditioned on some assumptions. For instance, the assumption that an ultrasound image has an obvious meaning. Well, yes, it does. It's the image of a child in the womb. It's the image of the developing child. In fact, even in this article, later, the author makes that really pretty clear. In fact, I have it right here on the next page. The author herself points out that these images produced a new and unprecedented vision of human development. So she knows. She knows what the image the ultrasound is producing is a picture of. It's not a questionable meaning, it's clear. You are watching, you are seeing a developing human being. Who questions that? No one questions that, not seriously. But here's a point that really illustrates the worldview behind this article, this one particular comment, talking about how the ultrasound, and actually there's a fascinating history of the ultrasound in the article, but talking about how the ultrasound brought certain abilities to the doctor in the examination room, the author makes this statement: "Before ultrasound, medical care received by pregnant women had depended on their testimony or how they described their own sensations. Ultrasound made it possible for the male doctor to evaluate the fetus without female interference." Now, I am sorry, that is just packed with ridiculous, unnecessary narrowing of terms, like the ultrasound doesn't make it possible for a female doctor to examine the child in the womb, or the condition of the patient, if you want to say that. That's like saying that certain technology allows male doctors to examine the kidneys or liver of a female without their interference. This is just loaded with political language. To complain about how the ultrasound has been politicized and then write political polemic like this is just, I don't even have the word for it. It's bold, it's in your face, but it does indicate a real issue in that the facts here are not being interpreted from a neutral position. Actually, let me just give you a couple of other statements, because there really are a lot of worthwhile things in this article, as biased as it is. It points out that in 1983, there was a study done by a couple of scientists, a couple of doctors, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, in which women who were interested in abortion were shown ultrasonic pictures of their child in the womb, and made comments like this: "It certainly makes you think twice about abortion. I feel that it is human. It belongs to me. I couldn't have an abortion now." Another comment: "I'm going all the way with this baby. I believe that it is a human." The fact is, the ultrasound does make some kind of difference. But the lengths to which the article goes to try to avoid reality are actually pretty startling. For instance, the author talks about how ultrasounds are starting to show up in social media in a lot of different ways. And there's whole cottage industries that have sprung up, taking pictures of a child with the ultrasound and making different products out of them. And she mentions, for instance, in many ways, social media has heightened social media have heightened the social reality of the unborn. And then saying this later, yet it remains unclear what the popular enthusiasm for fetal images actually means. I think you have to be kidding me. Whenever an expectant mother puts up an ultrasound picture of a baby, isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious what they mean? They're excited that they're having a child. What is confusing about that? There's nothing confusing about that. Statements like this, articles like this remind me of Isaiah chapter 30, verses 9 through 11, where God says there's a time coming when people will actually prefer lies. They tell the prophets, prophesy lies to us, prophesy deceit. We don't want to know the truth. We want to avoid that, and we want the God of Israel to just get out of our way. You read that prophecy in Isaiah, and that's what articles like this stand to me. That's what they represent to me. We are living in a time where people are so committed to their worldview, so committed to a certain view of life that is in such ignorance of the facts and ignorance of reality, a determined ignorance. What else do you call when you're that detached from reality other than insanity? And I look at the evidence around us, and I think we are walking into the asylum more and more every day. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll check out everything we have available at tomorrowsworld.org.